All right, so we are ready for the center holes here, and we're going to have holes in the middle of each of these based on our geometry. And this is where we're going to need to make sure that we keep these in the right location. Because remember, right now, our center line is really the center of this slot here and not one of these lines. So if we just go picking off of these lines, the hole is actually going to be out of position. So we want to make sure that we are getting these in the correct position. So I'm going to start here by creating a new sketch, and I'm going to just click on one of these or kind of bring it in. Notice if I click here where it highlights all the slots, it's actually going to be sketching back below the face of this part. So let's kind of take a look and turn this here. So when in that front view, when we're seeing this, it is actually drawing on that bottom of the actual slot. So we don't want to draw on the bottom of the slot. We want to actually draw on this face. So I'm just going to use the center here, and we will left click on there as our sketch plane on the face of this part. So let me bring this back around. Now, I'm also going to create some construction lines here. So I'm going to left click here on the construction line, and this is going to be an actual line now that's construction line. So, and I'm just going to kind of drop these in here. Notice the difference. Make sure that it is a vertical line. So, and that locks in. So each time I'll create a construction line, come back. Now notice we do want this one to be right here in the center. So I'm going to kind of create that, lock that in place, escape. So one more time here with the construction line, get my vertical lines in place. So, and there's that one. I'm not worried about their location right now. I'm just worried about getting those put on, because I'm going to now come back in and dimension this. So we're going to dimension from here to this edge, and that is going to be 0.375. Remember, half of 3/4 is 0.375. So now I can dimension between the lines, and I can use my actual construction line. So I'm going to dimension from here to there. Now watch what happens. I'm going to say 0.75 and enter. Notice how that kind of goes to that lighter color as opposed to this. That is because we kind of picked up on the center point in the plane and use that in. So this is what we call basic dimension. It already knows that because we have constrained this construction line to our center line of this part. So let's go ahead and create another dimension from here to this construction line. So we're going to make this 0.75 as well, and that's going to bring it over. Notice again the difference here in the way these dimensions are shown. All right, so that gets us into the vertical center lines or construction lines. So let's hit the escape key, get out of that. We're going to come back and we're going to create the horizontal lines right now. So I'm going to go from here over. I want to make sure that it locks into that horizontal, and left click. Again, notice, let's escape this. Notice this came in as a solid object line. So that's not a big deal. If I just come back up here to the construction line and click on that, or click on the line and then go to construction line, it will turn that line into a construction line for us. So let me hit the escape key here, or left click out here, so we got that placed. Let's go ahead with another one. Click your line and the construction line we want to draw this at. Again, notice I'm locking this in on the center of this part. So it's automatically giving me that constraint. So let's get that put in. Right click escape. And the last one here, my line tool, I want this to be a construction line. So we're going to come right over here and place that. Right click escape. There we go. And now to dimension these. So again, we're going to dimension from this corner. So in this case, this will be 0.375. Okay, so our x0, y0 is basically this corner right here. Let's go ahead and dimension from this line to the center line here. So that locks in at 0.75. And then from here to here, type in 0.75, enter to get that key in there. All right, so we have all of those construction lines taking place. We are ready to kind of go in and add the holes here. Now, let's go ahead and click off the sketch for a second. We could go right now then and use the extrude tool. We don't have a hole. We could certainly draw a center point and draw holes and circles on all of these points, but OnShape has a better tool that we're going to use, and that is the hole creation tool. So this is right here. So if we left click on the hole creation tool, notice it comes up, and as we sit here and think about, we've got all sorts of different sizes here that we can kind of put in based on different types of holes. So we're just going to keep it custom, but we get the ANSI, ISO, different types of holes. Notice this is our diameter tolerance. This is our countersink. This is our countersink angle. So notice up here we can choose from a countersunk hole. We can choose just a simple through hole. We can, right now that's through all, but notice we can make that a simple blind hole. We can make this a counter bore, and it opens up different things. So for right now, we're just going to keep this as a simple through hole. And when I have this, let's go ahead and change this to a 0.1875, a 3/16 hole. So we're going to make that. Now, when I come over here to my drawing, it doesn't let me put anything in here. So mainly because if I go up here where it's red, it says did not regenerate properly, no hole point selected. Well, what that means is we need to go in and we need to actually put holes and put points for it to select the hole. And this isn't that difficult to do. Let's go back over here. Let's right click and edit. Let's get back into that sketch. We're going to create points on this. So right here is our point tool. So we're going to add points to this. Now, we're going to add points to each of these intersection lines. So when you do this, you need to make sure that both lines are selected to place the point in the right spot. So I'm going to left click there. I'm going to come over, get both of these highlighted, left click to place a point there. Left click to place a point here. So bring it down, make sure both of these, left click to place the point there. Let's go ahead and notice in this case, we already have a point, so it should be good to go. Let's try this one now. Left click, place that point. I'm going to move this up. So we still have 3 more points to place. Left click, and left click. So now I got a point at each of those intersections. So let's uncheck this, or go ahead and click the green check to get out of that sketch tool. At this point, we should be able now to go and pick the hole. So let's bring this up. Now watch what happens. So right now it's saying they want a 3/4 inch diameter hole. So let's click on these now. Notice here what's happening with these. So we're getting all these points placed here, and it's taken away. Now notice it doesn't want to pick up on that, so that's all right. We'll go back and fix this. So let's get this in here right like that. We've selected all those points. So notice what's going on here. It's taking and removing that, but that's definitely way too big. So let's go ahead and let's make this a simple hole, and we're going to instead of being 3/4, we're going to be 0.1875, that 3/16. Notice how much that drops and brings it in. Now, we're saying through all, so you'll notice now that that hole is created going all the way through. Let's change the through all here to a blind hole. Now it gives us a choice for our depth tolerance, and we're going to change the depth tolerance to 0.375. So notice we also have a choice for the angle of the drill bit. So we can make it a flat hole, so what we call a flat bottom hole, or we can have a 135 degree tip to the drill bit, or we can have a 118 degree tip to the drill bit. We're going to keep that. That's pretty much standard as 118 degree. Now I need to kind of come back here and decide I got to do something here to figure out what's going on and why that hole isn't generating. So let's click the green check mark here. Notice where we're at. We're almost done with this, so we've got those in there. I just need to come right back over here to my sketch. Let's right click and hit edit to go back into the sketch. And we need to kind of come in here. It shows an intersection point, but we need to also create the physical point there. So let's kind of get this back in, and notice it's picking up that center. Let's just go ahead and place it. So I clicked there, green check mark. Let's go back in here now to our hole pattern. So we'll right click, edit this one, and now we are able to add that hole in. Click the green check mark. Let's go back in isometric view. Bring it in the front view. So we've got this drawing taken care of. I'm going to go ahead and turn off our planes here so that we get that. And notice that origin point, we can go ahead and turn that off too. And there is our part. So for our tic-tac-toe board with a 3/8 or with a 3/16 hole. Now, what's nice about this is at any time, if you're using this hole feature, we can go in and change this. So let's come back over here to this hole. Let's say we want, instead of having that just be a simple standard hole, let's go ahead and make that a countersunk hole here. So we're going to keep this at the 3/16, 0.18875. Here it's saying, all right, what's your depth tolerance? So in this case, we got a depth tolerance for the hole. We got a countersink here, and our countersink diameter is 0.813. Now, the software automatically knows if you bring the countersink to 0.813, it's going to go way past the depth of the hole here with that countersink. So we need to change this. Now, typically on a countersink, you allow 30 thousandths per hole. So if we're at a 0.188, we're going to add in a 32nd. So we said that this was a 3/16 hole, and I'm going to say 3/16 plus 1/32. We'll see if it likes the math here. So add that in. It does, and we can go ahead and click the green check. We got an 82 degree, don't forget, 82 degree countersink, green check. Now notice, now we've got that countersink on each of those holes too. And that finishes the hole pattern up on our tic-tac-toe board.